Hey guys, welcome back to the Clubhouse. I am so glad to be with you guys again today. I've got some chat pack questions for us to get started with. So the first one I would like you guys to take some time to answer is this. What was your favorite doll or action figure from childhood? If you're still in your childhood, just share your favorite thing currently. Maybe, especially if it's a doll or action figure. For me, it was Polly Pocket. I don't know that she's technically a doll, but she was by far my favorite. In fact, I still have some Polly Pockets in my office. Don't judge me too much, okay? I just thought they were super cool. Still do. And I'm not gonna tell you how old I am. Actually, I don't care. I'm 32. All right, so the next question I have for you is, what is your favorite store to walk through if you're just browsing? Most of us probably haven't done this a lot recently, if at all, but on a typical day, if you could just walk around any store, what would it be? My answers are kind of basic. I really like Home Goods and I really like Target. Those are some of my favorite stores just to walk around and see what they have, because you just never know what you're gonna find. Hobby Lobby's up there too, because I like to craft and do artsy things. So I like that store as well. I hope you guys had a good time answering those questions. So we are starting a brand new month where we are going to be focusing. I did not plan that. We're going to be talking about focus. So focus, sometimes we have to squint our eyes to help them focus in, right? And take a closer look at things. Faith can be just like that. Because we can't see God, sometimes we have to really focus and take a closer look. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. You have probably heard of the word faith before. There are even some really popular phrases that people use with faith all the time. Maybe you've heard of this: faith can move mountains. Or maybe you should just take a leap of faith. Of course, the best place to learn about faith is the Bible. It is full of stories of people that chose to put their trust in God. Of course, the best place to learn about faith is the Bible. If we can't see God, at least we can have God's word. These pages are full of stories of people that chose to put their trust in faith in God. The writer of the book of Hebrews explains it like this. Let's check it out. We're going to be in Hebrews chapter 11, and we're going to read verses 1 and 2. So make sure you've got your Bible. Hebrews 11, verses 1 and 2. Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see, that it is what people of long ago were praised for. We can learn so much from the people that came before us in these stories. People that couldn't see God, but still believed that He had their best interest at heart and that He had a bigger story that He wanted to tell. We can learn so much from the people that came before us. They too lived in a very broken world, just like we do, and they still chose to put their trust in God. The writer of Hebrews goes on to share all kinds of people that did amazing things in God's big story. They had amazing faith, like Noah and Abraham. Abraham was already getting old. I almost said really old. He was already getting old when God spoke to him and told him to move to a far away land. At that time, Abraham and his wife Sarah had no children, and God tells Abraham in Genesis chapter 13 that He wants him to move, and that once he obeyed and moved, that God was going to make his family into a great nation, one that would go on to bless every other nation on earth. That had to be a really big deal for Abraham, because remember, he didn't even have kids yet, and here God was wanting him to pick up and move this faraway place, and if he did that, then God was going to bless him and make his family into a great nation. It was actually part of God's big story, because God wanted our rescuer, Jesus, to come through Abraham's family. So Jesus is actually one of Abraham's great, a few more greats, grandkids. Abraham had no idea all that God was going to do. Because of Abraham's faith and trust that he put in God, so many people after him had a great faith too. People like Isaac and Jacob and Joseph. God also spoke to Moses through a burning bush. Even though Moses had grown up with the Pharaoh's daughter, he decided to stand with his own people, the Israelites, and help lead them out to freedom. Those are just two people that the writer of Hebrews reminds us of. The writer goes on to tell us even more people that put their faith in God. So many that he actually goes on to say that he has to stop listing them because there's just too many. We can't forget about King David, Israel's greatest king. God had told David that he was going to be king, but he wasn't king just yet. He spent years on the run from King Saul, fearing for his life. Eventually, God followed through with his promise, and David became a great king. None of these people in the Old Testament could see God. In fact, none of them lived to see Jesus. None of the people in the Old Testament could see with their own eyes what God was doing. They weren't going to be able to see Jesus come to earth to rescue us. But they had faith. They chose faith. They couldn't always see the ending, but they trusted that God had a bigger plan and story. Even though they couldn't see Jesus come to earth to save us, I have no doubt that it became clear once Jesus was here that that was who God wanted to send all along. I want you guys to remember that we can do the same thing, that we can put our trust in Jesus even though we've never seen him. Just like the people that we talked about in our story who also could not see God or Jesus, they could see how God was moving in their life. So even if you don't see God or see Jesus, you can feel him moving in your life and the people around you. We can go back in the Bible and learn even more from the people that went before us, from their stories, how God worked in their life, and even the lives of the people that came before us in our own family, right? Maybe parents or aunt and uncles or grandparents that did really cool things that we can see all that God is doing because of the faith that they chose to have. Our Bible story image for this week is this: faith is being sure of what we do not see. Like we've said several times today, just because we can't see God doesn't mean we can't see God moving. So I want to encourage you to focus, to take a closer look and see all that God is doing around you. Let's pray. God, we thank you so much for the people that came before us, for the opportunity that we have to learn from them and how they chose faith. I pray that you would continue to be with us, guide us as we learn more about you. Help us to take a closer look and to see the ways in which you are working, even in the midst of everything going on in our world right now. God, I pray that you would show us the situations where we need to choose faith and choose trust. In your name, I pray. All right, you guys, your family activity is going to come on the screen. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.